Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra Wair. Do y'all feel like the camera is getting like closer and closer and closer every time we do this? Or because it kind of is a little bit. I'm still like working on the whole film setup and everything like that. That kind of just goes into this room and goes into like the pod and the furniture and all that kind of stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast this week. Thank you guys for listening, for watching, for whatever form you were consuming this media in. Hi guys, my name is LaTerra Wair. If you guys do not know me, I am a multimedia creator. I do this podcast here. It is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. I hope that you guys are having a good week. I am having a very interesting week, to say the least. You know, everything's well, everyone's alive, and that's all you could hope for. That's all you could ask for. Getting into this week's topic, usually I try my best to like sit here and have an outline and like read down the outline to make sure that what I'm saying makes any type of sense, some type of sense, because I babble and my friend tells me that I tell stories like a Quentin Tarantino movie, and that's just because that's how things come off into my brain. So I guess that's just how I tell the stories, right? That's kind of gonna be the vibe, I guess, of this episode. I don't really have an outline today. I'm just kind of talking based off my feelings, my heart, my spirit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been in a rut. I don't really know what it is, but being in this rut, I guess, I have been doom scrolling on Instagram like I do. And you guys know how Instagram that's the only one I use. Instagram or like shorts, but my shorts don't necessarily do this. But with Instagram, I feel like my For You page is like extracting pieces of my brain while I'm sleeping, and it's feeding it into Meta's algorithm or something. And that sounds so conspiracy theorist of me, but I say that to say my Instagram For You page hits every single time. She's gonna hit home. I ran into a guy's post who I believe he is a pastor or he just preaches at a church on special occasions. He talks about how like God chose him or whatever. And I'm not going to talk about this from a like religious, I guess, aspect of it. But just I wanted to kind of explain or talk about like just feeling chosen in life, feeling chosen in your own life. I think that this week especially, I've been very down and in the dumps because I love to come on here and I love to tell you guys like it's you, choose you, all this kind of stuff. And I think I haven't been feeling like that. I've been feeling a little stagnant personally, and stagnant more so in just like personal aspects and I guess professional aspects. There's just like that little drop or little decline, but you know, you have to be consistent, you have to persevere and all that kind of stuff. Lately, it's just, she's been interesting, to say the least, is what it feels like. It just feels very interesting, and I just haven't been feeling like chosen. And I'm coming on here to talk to myself, but also to talk to you guys just about what this idea that I mean. A long time ago, when I found myself questioning a lot of things and questioning myself and my purpose and this and that, it was very hard because in my essence, in my purity, I am a people pleaser. I like to do things and make people happy. I think that as an older sibling, that's something that you learn, and because you want to do, or for me personally, I want to do things for my siblings. I want to take care of them and make sure that they are okay, and so that they can go off and do what makes them happy, and like they don't have to worry about that. You know, and I think that that's like the base minimum that I could do. That's not a responsibility, I guess, like anyone gave me, but that's the responsibility that like I feel like that my conscience gave me. How do I say this? because of that, I very much so have spent a lot of my time just kind of like doing things for people. And I like when people like the things that I do, and I don't like making people upset and this and this and that, right? And all of that kind of turned into like a I need people to choose me in order for that to make me happy. And that's wrong. That's completely wrong. I don't subscribe to that ministry at all, to be very honest with you. I think that yes, there are things in life that we as a society base like standards off of and base like numbers off of. And if more people are watching you and engaging you and following you, then like you're the one who, in theory, like, you know, society chose to represent on whatever aspect or scale that you're representing on. Yes. But in your life, in your being, and this experience that you were living, you are chosen for yourself, whatever it is that you do. And I think that seeing the guy who I alluded to in the beginning, or seeing his videos, it really like just made me start to think, and it really put me in this kind of mindset of just being like, yeah, like you have to choose you, right? Like it's not about really anyone else choosing you. If you are someone who is a spiritual person or who believes in faith, like you have to know that like your creator put you in your body for whatever reason, and you will be doing the things that you will be doing for whatever reason. And even on a earthly level, just a human level, things that we can see, like you have to understand that you live in your body for a reason, right? And you are pursuing your dreams for a reason. Like, you know, when people say I didn't put that idea in, or that idea wasn't in your head for nothing. And that's what it feels like. I try and be a really big advocate on here for pushing and pursuing your dreams and all this stuff. And I think it's simply because you have to feel chosen, and some people don't. And I think that I haven't felt like that in a really long time. Like a really, really long time. And lately I have just been feeling like that. I've just been feeling real lost, real kind of confused, and in a state of, I don't know why, like in a lot of things. And I'm talking around it a lot because I don't know what to say. And so for me, I guess is the best way to put what I'm trying to put, is that I just don't feel like I'm chosen right now. Like, what does that mean? You know, like, what does that mean? It's not that like, I don't feel like I'm chosen by like you guys or anything like that. Like, it feels like I'm letting myself down in a way, or I don't know. It just kind of like switched overnight. Truly. I believe that more so it's not necessarily not being chosen. I think that like a lot of things are just moving around in life, and because things are just kind of settling into their new normal and navigating through that, and then just understanding that some things or some feelings will not be the same. In living in that, I've been experiencing so many ego deaths. Like just yesterday, I had a real big ego death, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say this is gonna be crazy. This is me. But like yesterday, someone asked me if I knew that things were gonna turn out a way because I'm me. And I was like, what does that mean? You know? And it's just like, from that, I think that people sometimes like walk around, and all this is to say this was a joke on this person's end, right? But I think people like walk around, and being perceived is a hell of a thing. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here real quick. The idea of someone perceiving me is very scary to me and very mind numbing. And I think it's brought up a lot of situations. Like, I I've never cared about the way I was perceived necessarily, because I think that perception of a person and who a person is they're two very different things. And so I think that as long as I know who I am, I don't necessarily care how the world perceives me, whether that be a good thing, a bad thing. Like, I'm not out here being rude to people and like screaming at people or anything like that, but there are certain things that I like to do, there are certain things that I like to be, and there are certain ways I like to interact, and it's just like, that's who I am, and I don't think there's anything new under the sun. I think that there are other people that way. There might not be other people, and even if I was the only one who is acting in the ways that I am acting in, as long as I know that I'm not harming anyone or whatever, or harming myself, like, I really never gave a fuck, to be honest. To be perceived is crazy. There was this time that this was like last year, actually, around this time, I was going to the gym and I had an encounter with this man, right? And when I like was talking to this man, he basically went on, I say encounter because this entirety of me knowing this man was probably 3 days, right? And when I was talking to him, he, like, I showed up in just like really comfortable clothes when we were supposed to be just chilling, whatever, at a park. And then he was like, yeah, you're wearing really big clothes today. Da, 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 da. And I was just like, it's crazy to me to think that you perceived me. I don't know. We met at the gym. So girls wear what girls wear to the gym, right? And then I think that from that, he kind of just has this perception that she is a certain type of way already. And I was like, yeah, nothing really told you I was that way. You immediately just saw something that I was wearing, which was not even crazy. If you know me and you know what I go to the gym looking like, it's literally not crazy. I got a dumpy, low key. That was that. I was like, there's nothing that's really sitting here telling you that. And it was, that really made me understand that perception is such a crazy fucking thing. Like, people can perceive you, and then the way that they perceive you is how they proceed to treat you. And for me, it's just never that, right? Like, if we're gonna be real flat out, real forward, for me, it's never that. I think that for people to perceive me to be one way is very great, but also, like, I'm always going to stand on who I am and what I am, and not on no cocky-ish, like, not on no like, oh, I'm him type thing, you know. But it's like, I'm never going to not be me to like go with someone's perception of me. When going all the way back, one of my friends was just like asking me if I thought something was going to turn out differently because, you know, I'm me. And then it was a complete joke, a complete joke. But in that moment, I think it was very humanizing for me, because I was like, I have been feeling the craziest, shittiest about myself in a very, very long time. This entire like last 2-3 weeks, right? And you are perceiving, or the way that I guess I come off is if like I don't feel that way necessarily, and that like I think like I'm that girl. I do think I'm that girl. I think that like I'm that girl for me, and that is enough. I have to be enough for me, and whoever like comes along, whoever tags along. But the only thing that I can continue to do is show up genuinely as myself every day. And I think I'm a pretty cool person. I think it's important to hype yourself up, to give yourself your flowers and all that kind of stuff, because you worked hard to be who you are. And don't y'all ever forget that. I'm talking to me, but I'm talking to y'all also, you know, like, don't ever forget that you worked very hard to be the person that you are. You have gone through a lot of things. You've had to make a lot of hard choices. People don't talk about that. And being who you are and being a better version of yourself and becoming this person that you want to become, you got to make a lot of incredibly hard choices. And you owe it to yourself to respect yourself, to always think that you are that person because you've done the work, right? And I'm not talking to you people who are not doing the work. So if you sitting here trying to make the shoe fit, no. When they told me that was just so crazy to me because I'm like, oh, you're really like, you cannot tell how like low I feel right now. And not about like anything that was happening or the situation that they were talking about, not even about that, but like just in general. I love to like walk around and talk to people or whatever and just be like, yeah, you know, I got the juice in the squeeze. And that's why I like hype myself up, right? So it's always in fun and games and all that kind of stuff. But like lately, there's no juice squeezed at all. There's no juice, no squeeze, no pulp, no nothing. The fruit is hard. That's been me. And I think that when I saw that post on Instagram and I was listening to like what the guy was saying and listening to his message and everything, and I was just like, yeah, you have to remember that you are chosen in life. You are chosen for your own life. I've found solace in knowing that if this was to go into this grand scale, right? What I'm doing sitting here having this parasocial relationship with you guys, if it was to go into a grander scale and be bigger than that, I would be happy with that. I would feel like you guys chose me, like to sit here, to pour into you, to do all these things. And that's what I would love to do because that's what I like to do as a person. That's what makes me feel good. Like having this, sharing this experience and being able to find people who are like-minded, because it's hard. It's really hard. And as you get older and you're not around a lot of people, it's really hard. So doing this, it makes me like feel happy. It makes me have this sense of just like fulfillment. Like, not saying I don't have friends in real life or whatever. That is one thing. I think that I'm never finna be on here talking bad about people, but there be people online specifically, and I know these people and they really bother me, and you're really popping online and there's nothing going on in your real life. And that's why they be crashing out so hard online, right? Like the people who just be saying stuff and being rude online, I'm like, friend, get you some motion in real life is what's going on. Anyway, I found that solace in knowing that even if it was on that grand scale and like y'all chose me to be that person for you, I would feel chosen. I would feel honored. I would feel so blessed and all that kind of stuff. But even if it's just right now, if I had to turn the camera off for like ever, I have to find a peace in knowing that this is my life for a reason, and I need to find that reason if I don't know. I need to understand like why I am chosen to be here, why I am chosen to be in my body, sharing my experience, why I'm not like 730,000 miles across the ocean in like a different person's situation or a different, circumstance. And it is because this is mine. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm at. Lately, I have just been thinking about that. And that's just really come to the forefront of my brain. Is just like, you were chosen for you. And you are... I believe that people can be chosen for each other, right? And not in my sap, but like, I do think that people are chosen for each other. People are chosen to like make each other better, to be better people. All that is being chosen, as well. And I woke up, guys, I'm gonna be real honest, because y'all are deep in the episode now. I woke up this morning, and as I was not really getting myself together, that's why I look like this, guys. This is what this is what I be looking like on like a day-to-day for real. But like, I woke up and I knew that I needed to record this podcast episode because I'm trying to be very good about being committed to myself and committed to the things that I say that I'm going to do and showing up for myself. And a part of showing up for myself is fulfilling my dreams and going after the things that I want to do and making an honest effort. And that is this. Truly to you, anytime that I don't post media, unless it's something like I've had a very hectic week or whatever, it's because I literally cannot get up and not get up. I mentally feel so heavy sometimes that I can't, right? Like, I just can't think of anything to say. I have no words because everything is in my head, just running around in hyper thought and all that kind of stuff. And this morning I got up and I was like, I need to film this podcast episode. And I went to go take a shower, went to go do my skincare, and then started crying. I felt this intense, sense of emotion. I slept in an extra hour today, even though I was like, okay, girl, you got up, you got the energy to get up for real. And I just couldn't for real, And I had to think in the back of my mind that you have to choose you right now, because you are chosen to be here. You are chosen to do something, and you cannot sit around and just kind of feel this bad for yourself. You have to push to get through it. This podcast episode wasn't really going to be about this today, but that is just kind of circling around in my mind, and I know that other people feel this way. I've talked to other people that feel this way. I'm also not a counselor. I'm not a therapist, nothing like that. Obviously, I'm just a girl sitting here talking to the internet, talking to my internet friends. It's really hard to express to people what this feels like sometimes, and to explain to them that I'm going through something where I just don't feel right in my own life. And it's nothing that's this intense sadness. It sounds it's sad, right? But it sounds like this crushing thing. And I hate talking about how I feel, because I don't want to make people sad with whatever, because I always say, you will get through it, it'll pass, and all that kind of stuff. But if you guys are out there and you are not feeling chosen, if you are out there and you are feeling lost and hopeless, LaTerra, LT, for those who don't know, I think that you were chosen to be you. I think that you were chosen to do everything that you will do, that you have done, and that it will be okay. And that I hope and I pray and I manifest you get to find out what that means sooner rather than later, and it calms the whatever thoughts that you're having. And I'm saying that for myself to you guys. But moving forward into your delusional topic of the week. So the Your Delusional topic this week is about work friendships. Me, as someone who a lot of my jobs have been working with people who are the same age as me until I got into my first adult job, I would say. And then I started working with people who are, most of the people are older than I am. Most people that I at least interact with in my job or have to, they're probably 8 to 10 years older than me. But I also have always grown up hanging around older people, so it hasn't been as crazy of a thing, or it's something that's real comfortable for me personally. My work relationships, normally if they do turn into friendships, they are those friendships that kind of last a lot, or last a pretty decent amount of time. I think that I've had to learn though as an adult, when you start to make adult friendships, they require a lot more attention and nurturing. You have to actually plan hangouts, you have to plan time and all this kind of stuff. And so if you don't do that, I think they just fall off. But it's always more so just a text hey, how are you, da 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 da. I think that I don't have a lot of people from work who, actually, no, I'm going to sit here and lie. Pretty much, guys, anyone who I've ever met at work and we've actually been friends to the extent of texting or hanging out or whatever, I would say that we're still friends till now. I think that if there's anyone that I'm not really friends with, it's more so just a proximity thing. We don't talk necessarily as much as we used to, because we just live in very different places, or whatever. I wouldn't say no that there's anyone who I have actually like fallen off with as a work friend, to be honest, or like work friends who've transitioned into my like life as like real friends. Recently I made a new friend at work and I hope that it works out really well. I'm in this like state of making new friends or trying to make friends in my adulthood. So I'm not like putting all my emotions onto one person or boring my siblings with my constant emotional traumas, whatever. And I also just like need more girlfriends. Unfortunately, being a girl who grew up around boys, because I have a lot of boy cousins, to be honest with you, a lot. And then I have 2 brothers. The way most of my family works on my mom's side is if there is a girl as a sibling, it's accompanied by like boys. But yeah, so I don't think that I think work relationships can last, to be honest, like friendships outside of that. I have this coworker and he has a bunch of old like coworkers that he's still friends with after years and years, and he says that like they all meet up to hang out sometimes and all this kind of stuff. And so I think it definitely can last. I think that people like y'all are sharing experiences, and sometimes work is just a very central location for everyone to be at, and the hard part can be coordinating outside, just because people who all of y'all schedules align from your 9 to 5. That's because those 9 to 5, that's where all y'all schedules align, and it's convenient because y'all are also like, you know, doing what you're supposed to be doing to make money and all that kind of stuff. So going outside of that, you now have to like work friends into your real life. And if you have kind of a busy life, that's hard sometimes. But I do think work friendships can last. And I am looking forward to this friendship growing and everything like that. And do you guys have any work friends who you've been friends with, like y'all met at your first job when you were like 16 and y'all have been friends until now, whatever age you're at now? And if so, let me know. Like, I think stuff like that is super cool. I think that finding another person in this experience and getting to just like share moments with them and understand that y'all vibe in a similar way, even though you weren't raised together, that's like the coolest shit ever to me. Everything I'm on, you're on, you know? Yeah, I think that's super, super dope. Moving forward into the what we watching. So for the what we watching today, y'all, I did this roller set on my hair. I'm also sorry. I'm trying to see right now what I have been watching because I can't like tell you guys. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 2 things that I've been watching because I don't know if I've told you the first one. I can't remember if I said this or not, but so the first thing that I've been watching is a Netflix styled anime called Blood of Zeus. It's just kind of about like mythology and monsters and lore and everything. It's one of those stories that you kind of have to really, really pay attention to it because everything is connected and it's all really like intricate. But something that happened on episode 2 could have been the reason that this is happening and playing out now in episode 5, you know? So it's stuff like that. It's really fun. It's a really quick, easy watch. I am rewatching the first 2 seasons so that I can watch the 3rd season and the final season that just came out. It's a really interesting like animation style, I would say. And the second thing that I've been watching is Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul, I would say, is not a Breaking Bad spinoff, but it is in the Breaking Bad universe because it really doesn't have anything to do with the Breaking Bad show. Like, you could watch the 2 shows separately and they still make complete sense separately. You know, watching shows like that really changes your perspective, I feel like, a lot about people, and then just seeing how other people perceive characters and their actions really does just change a lot of perspective and a lot of just thoughts about people and thoughts about the way that people are and stuff. I really love Breaking Call Saul. I really love Better Call Saul. If you guys haven't seen it and you are a fan of Breaking Bad, I would definitely recommend. I believe Vince, the man who created Breaking Bad, is the same person who created and directed Better Call Saul. And if you haven't checked it out, I totally would check it out. It's a really, really good, really quick watch, to be honest. And I don't think that you would be disappointed in it. That is what I'm watching. Let me know what you're watching. One of my subscribers, Mr. Malik, he was talking to me in the comments last week about how he's watching Futurama, and that literally made my whole day also. I haven't started Futurama again, but I definitely will let you know when I'm watching it again. But I was telling him that there are new seasons also, and I found out that we both share this deep love for Futurama. So you guys let me know what you're watching down below. Let me know the kind of stuff that y'all are into. I really want to start branching out into like different forms of TV, and I'm pretty open to most TV. I have an issue with comedy things. I can't. I like very deadpan, offbeat comedy. Is what it seems like. Yeah, if you guys know any recommendations, I'm trying to beat the allegations. I'm trying to be a funny comedy girl for real. So drop some recommendations in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me this week. Thank you guys so much for listening, for being here. If you are one of our audio listeners on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please be sure to rate the show up above. And if you are someone who is watching here with me on the tube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are interested in more updates or anything regarding the podcast, you want to send in ideas that you don't want to leave like as public comments, you can DM our production company at LT Legacy Productions. You can also follow me for any personal updates, just more real-time life kind of stuff at the LaTerra Wair. And with all that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast. The Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.